Hey guys, welcome back to my kitchen. I hope everybody's had a wonderful week and I hope you have some great plans for the weekend this weekend. Hope everybody's doing great and I hope everybody is staying healthy. I'm still quite congested in my sinuses, so I am so ready for this to be gone. I'm ready to breathe a bit better. So I have been drinking tons and tons of hot drinks, teas, coffees, and things like that. Mostly decaf because I don't want to be up at 3 o'clock in the morning. But anyways, my daughter has requested some potato soup. Her specific was Crockpot potato cheddar soup. She loves all things potato soup. She loves potatoes. I think it's one of her favorite vegetables. And she loves potato soup. So I have pulled out all the ingredients to get that going. I've got it all set here. I've still got some chopping to do. So I'm just going to bring you guys along with me. We'll chit chat and we'll get this going in the crock pot. So let's go over all of the ingredients and we'll get started. Okay guys, so I've got all of my ingredients here set out ready to go as usual. I've still got to chop up some potatoes and some carrots and onion back here, but that's fine. I've got about 2 pounds of potatoes, a couple of carrots, and an onion. I've got about 2.5 cups of cheddar cheese. I'm going to put 2 cups of this in the soup later on after the potatoes cook, and then just use what's left over to top the soup with later. I've got some salt and pepper, some garlic powder, paprika, onion powder, and here I've got normally 9 times out of 10 I will do just plain almond milk, but you can do whatever milk you have on hand. It works fine. You could do half and half. You can do cream. Today I'm using half almond milk, half cream, because I want less calories, because cheese packs a ton of calories. So I just kind of cut this down with some regular unsweetened almond milk and half cream. So I've got that mixed in here. And then I've just got some good old chicken broth. You can do bone broth. You can do whatever. You can do vegetable broth as well, but I'm using some chicken broth today. You know I like the Knorr brand. If I don't have homemade on hand or some bone broth, this is what I normally use. So let's get all of this prepped and ready to go, and we'll get the potatoes in the crock pot and get this going. Okay guys, so I've got my crock pot here, my potatoes, carrots, onion. We're just chopping up some potatoes and getting them ready for the crock pot. I've got my coffee. So good. And we are just chopping up some potatoes. Now you can chop up the potatoes any size that you want. It really doesn't matter. You can cut them smaller, or you can cut them larger. It's really up to you. Just chopping those up and plopping them down into the crock pot. I've got 2 different styles of potatoes here because it's what I have on hand. The grocery store that I normally go to didn't have too many options to choose from. So I've got regular white potatoes and some golden potatoes, and we are just chopping these up. I've also got to chop up my carrots, get those in there, my onion. Now, like I said before, my daughter absolutely adores potatoes. She would eat potatoes every day if she could, in any form. She just absolutely loves them. And she requests potato soup a lot. It's one of her favorite soups. So I'm always looking for new ways to cook potatoes for her. And I'm sorry, you guys, if I sound so horrible, because my cold is now in my sinuses. It just makes me sound so horrible. But I am ready for this all to be over with. I am so over this. But anyways, like I said, she loves potatoes, and I'm always looking for new ways to cook a potato. And you can only make potato soup so many ways and top it with so many things. But here's to trying, right? So I am down to my last potato here, and then we're going to be doing some chopping carrots and onions. Now, when it comes to when you cut your carrots, it really doesn't matter. I would cut them a little bit smaller than the potatoes because it takes a little bit longer for carrots to cook down in the crock pot, especially the onions. You don't want to have crunchy carrots or crunchy onions into your soup. So I've got all of my potatoes in there. And we're going to be chopping up some carrots. And you can do this however you want. I'm just going to roughly chop them because who has time to make teensy-weensy carrots, right? So, I hope everybody is having a wonderful, wonderful week this week. And I hope everyone is exercising and living their best life. And is ready for the weekend. Do you guys have any plans for this weekend? I currently do not. Normally, me and my daughter love to go thrift shopping, so that's usually what we do on the weekends, is go scout out thrift stores, antique shops, things like that, because that is our favorite pastime. We love to go thrift shopping. And you can find some really, really nice things if you know what you're looking for at the thrift stores, antique shops, things like that. So we are going to be skipping the thrift stores this weekend because I don't feel comfortable going out still. Because, you know, sick. I don't want to get anybody else sick. So, we are taking the proper precautions. So now I've got my onion here. Cut this little piece off here. How are the grocery stores near you? Our grocery stores are getting pretty bare. It's kind of shocking, really. We had some trouble finding everything that we needed. So, pretty bare. So how are the stores where you are? Are they the same way? Let me know. Have to go to quite a few different stores to get everything that I need. Ooh, these onions are strong, you guys. So, got those in there. And I am going to take a second and clean up from these onions because I am teary-eyed. So I'm going to clean this up a bit and then we'll move on to the next step. Okay, so I've got everything cleaned up, out of the way a little bit so we can have a little extra room to work here. Now, when it comes to seasoning, when it comes to potatoes, potatoes love salt. We all know that. However, when you salt the potatoes before they're cooking, before they're done, it causes the potatoes to cook unevenly. So, while you can go ahead and add in all of your seasoning, I opt out the salt until later. So that way, the potatoes cook evenly. I don't know why it does that. It does. So I've got my broth here. We're going to add that right in there. And we're going to add in some some pepper. We absolutely love pepper, so you can add as much or as little as you want. That looks good. I've got some garlic powder here. I will leave all of the measurements on the recipe on my blog, so you can head on over there and check that out and get the recipe. But when it comes to spices, just season it to your heart's content and you'll be good to go. You can always add more seasoning later. So we're just going to go ahead and give this a stir, and we will add all the rest of the ingredients later after the potatoes are cooked. So I think I'm going to add just a bit more water in here because I want the liquid to come up to cover the potatoes so that way they all cook. I add about 2 more cups of water. So I want the liquid to cover the potatoes so they cook evenly. Alright, so now I'm going to pop the lid on. We're going to cook this on high for about, it depends really on your slow cooker because they all cook different temperatures. So just cook it until your potatoes are tender. Usually in this one it takes about 2 hours, 2.5 hours. In my Crockpot slow cooker, it takes about 3 to 3.5 hours. So like I said, it just depends on the Crockpot that you're using, the slow cooker that you're using. So just cook them until your vegetables are tender. And then I will meet you right back here. I'm going to say about 3 hours. And we'll go from there. Okay, so it's been about 3 hours and I've got everything else prepped and ready to go. I've got my cheese here. We'll add that in just a bit. I've got my milk and cream mixture, and I've got some cornstarch here. If you want it thicker, you can add a little bit of, just make up equal parts cornstarch and water and add it to that and let it cook for a few minutes. And it'll thicken it up if you want it to be a little bit more thicker. I also went ahead and cooked up some bacon. That's going to be topped with, we'll top that on the soup in just a bit. I've also got some green onion here that we're going to chop up in just a little bit. It goes good with potato soup. So I have already gone ahead and checked the potatoes and they are nice and tender. The carrots are tender and the onions are nice and tender. So what I'm going to do is go ahead and add in my salt. You can add a little bit now and then you can just add some more later if you feel that it needs it. Now you got to remember, potatoes love salt and they soak up pretty much all the salt that you put in here. So just make sure to add a little bit And then you can add some more later. I'm going to add a little bit more pepper to the soup. And give that a little mix. You can always add more salt later. I just don't want to add too much right now because I don't want it to be too salty. So I'm going to go ahead and add in my milk and cream mixture. And this is just going to give it a nice rich flavor. And we're going to give this a stir. And I'm going to let this cook about another 10 minutes or so, just so that cream can get nice and flavorful. And then we will add in the cheese and give that a stir until it melts. And I think we'll be good to go. So I'm going to let this cook for another 10 minutes or so, and then I'll meet you right back here. Okay, so this has been cooking for about just over 10 minutes, and I did not add any cornstarch or anything to it, but I did give it a taste, and it tastes absolutely delicious. So now I'm going to add 3/4 of this cheese in here because I want to save some for topping later. It's roughly about 2 cups of cheese. And we'll save that for the top. And then you're just going to stir this until all of the cheese is melted, and then we will plate it up. Okay, so I turned this down to keep warm because I want it to stay warm until my daughter gets home. But we're going to go ahead and plate some of this up, and it smells so delicious. So I've got my bowl here. I'm just going to plate some of this delicious soup in my bowl. And you can top this with whatever you want. Normally we top it with some bacon bits. I love the taste of freshly cooked bacon, so we're going to top it with that. I've got my green onions here that I just chopped up, and some leftover cheese. And you can top it however you want. You can put sour cream in here. So I'm going to add just a little bit of cheese, a little bit of bacon, and some green onion. Of course, you can add as much or as little as you want. But this is what it looks like, and it looks absolutely delicious, and I cannot wait to dig in. Alright guys, that's gonna be it for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did, give it a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe before you leave. And as usual, if you want this recipe or any of my other recipes, you can click the link in the description box below for my blog. It's also always pinned in the comment section, so you can find it there as well. And you can just go there and search up any of my recipes on my blog and print them out for you and your family. So we are going to go enjoy some delicious potato cheddar soup, and I will see you guys in the next video. Bye guys.